All right, I think we are live. So today I'm going to be playing on my own ranked ladder. You can check it out in the description by hopping onto my Discord. And I'm planning for a pretty casual stream today. I'm just going to be going ahead and finding as many matches as I can and hopefully getting this ladder back up to speed before the patch drops. So it should be fun. For now, though, we just gotta wait for people to queue up. And in the meantime, I can chill and relax with people in chat. Goes well with Noodle. Hello. Welcome to the stream. I hope the day is treating you well. I'm really hoping to get some life back into this ladder, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Human Boy had a very successful event the other day, so I'm just hoping to continue that train by having the tournament stuff, or it's sort of the weekly event that is going on right now as I speak. So it should be good. I hope I'm not overlapping with another Warhammer tournament right now. I think I'm in the clear, but you never know. You never know. Jeremy, hello. Nice to have you here. Oh man, I hope someone queues up soon. One of you guys could if you wanted to. You are allowed to snipe me as long as you do not snipe my builds. And even if you do, it should still be fine. Rubber Duck starts in 45 minutes. Oh no! No! No, how could I? Well, in the meantime, I guess I'll just stream. Oh, the scheduling conflicts, how terrible. Still, we will see if anyone decides to hop on. If not, maybe I'll do quick battles or something. Man, and I thought I was keeping track of all the tournaments that were going on. Let's double check the announcements. See, when did Rubber Duck of War post up his thing? I don't even see it. Oh, you saw E-Tran in one of my Python scripts? And you thought it was one of your files? Yep. Name reveal. That's interesting. Well, same last name, I guess. Oh boy. Huh. It's very interesting though. You know, I've never really, I don't think I've met anyone with exactly the same name as me. Maybe once. Maybe once I found someone with the exact same first name. And hey, there we go, there's Hadries. All right, nice. Amazing. Let's go ahead and message them. Lobby is up. Cool. Let's see here. Hadries. Let's go ahead and get him into the lobby. The map is going to be the Chill Flow, one that you don't see too often in tournaments, but it's a fairly nice flat map. Cool, yeah. Nice to have you, Hadries. And then, let's see. What will I do? Let's go ahead and, yes. I need to get up my score counter. There we go. Man, it's been so long since I streamed, guys. It's been an insanely long time, so I may be rusty at streaming, but Warhammer, perhaps not. EG's is in. A map set. I'll go Vampire Coast, ban the Wood Elves and the Vampire counts. Very classic bans. And we'll see what he decides to counter with. I'm assuming that he's in Rubber Duck's tournament that I heard nothing about. And we'll see if what he we'll see if he needs to rush this game. Was the ladder system also built on Python? It was indeed. It's using what, like some Discord library that helps me skip a lot of all the, you know, the internet stuff, which I'm quite terrible at. I don't even know the names or how to explain it. And nice, Jesus is giving Beastmen a shot. So I have a pretty fun build I want to try out, and that's going to be my Vampire Coast kite build against Beastmen. It's very good at punishing specific Beastmen builds, but it will lose to a variety of styles. It should be fully legal. I have 5 air units, but only 4 are skirmishers. So let's see how it goes. But yeah, the ladder system, I'm very happy that I got it to a place where it functions decently. And that is because of a lot of updates and hot fixes to clear up bugs. So it's actually quite stable nowadays. Oh, the sun is shining right into my eyes. But yeah, the ladder, it's very stable. I haven't really given it a proper update in like a few months now. And the fact that it hasn't crashed is good. Although, I guess not that many people have been playing, so perhaps a bad sign. But yeah, in other news, I've been switching to a lot of tutorial series recently. Where, yeah, it's just heavily edited and much shorter videos. And so far they're doing pretty good. They've done quite well, at least compared to my vids before. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to continue growing the channel. Fingers crossed. But we will see. We will see. I'm taking it a bit easy today. I will go into proper casting mode once the battle actually starts. For those of you wondering, this is a fairly well-refined Vampire Coast kite build against Beastmen. It's sort of like 50% baked right now, where the build itself is fairly fine-tuned, but I have no idea if it's actually a viable strategy against Beastmen. As you can see, I have my Sirens to act as sort of a mobile support element. Scurvy Dogs doing the exact same thing. And then just a couple zombie pistol mobs to punish any harpies that try to dive in on me. They do fairly good damage, so I think they should be able to go to work fine. And these Fellbats too, with their ability to stall in the air, means that I shouldn't have to worry too much about getting rushed. But we will see. Go ahead and give Hadrius the good luck, have fun. And dive right on in. But yeah, the main problem, like I said, it's going to be harpies. I have a mild amount of harpy defense, but with good enough play, I might get completely screwed over. As for the rest of the Beastmen army, it's mostly cavalry that can catch me. But if we do see Taurox, that's going to be a little bit of a problem. Oh, goes well with Noodle. He said, I've been, doing good with the vids. I see. Yeah, I'm excited to work on more videos. I actually recently got all of the Warhammer 2 achievements. And I have nothing else to do, so it's mostly just, you know, either coding or what have you. Oh, that's a Gorgon. That's very interesting. But yeah, you know, mostly some coding, possibly some work on videos and so on. That's mostly my plan right now. Now, there are going to be quite a few Beastmen units. It is a double Gorgon build, which is actually very good for me. Because it means that there will not be a whole ton of anything else, really. Most of the money that was spent is going into those units. As for my Gunnery White and Noctilus, they're going to start retreating. You can bring in the Sirens to stall. And then as long as these Harpies don't pose too much of a problem, I should be fine. So here we go, zombies running just some interference. Looks like they're doing okay. But, oh boy, Taurox. He has dived in onto my Gunnery White. That's going to be a bit of an issue. especially with how much damage he does. In fact, this army is so fast on the Beastman side, I might just get caught and run down here. We will have to see. But now, though, the Gunnery Wights, they will continue to be running away, trying to find a safer position. I'm going to use my pistol mobs to try and support, summon one over here, and then get my dogs to try and distract these Gorgons. Gunnery Wights just moving into a better position. And if I can overwhelm these guys and actually get them killed, that will be absolutely great for me. And that's basically just the goal. I know a spell was recently used on my scurvy dogs. That's not too much of a problem for me. Grouping up on top of the Gorgons, the Gunnery Wights are doing decent damage. But things are looking pretty bad at this point. Usually I'm not used to Beastmen bringing this much fast single entity mobility. But at the very least, it seems like the Gunnery Wights are doing well for themselves, especially with the scurvy dog support. And yeah, one big thing about the Gorgons is that they are almost entirely unarmored, which is why the scurvy dogs do such a great job at munching down on them. This Gunnery Wight, though, getting hit by Taurox, he's going to be in pretty rough shape if I don't give him support. And to do that, I will be summoning some pistol mobs or just some normal zombies to help him get out of there. Now, the scurvy dogs, they are having a rough time. They've been getting dived in on by the harpies and so forth. And as for... well, actually, yeah. I don't have any more mobility, actually, with those dogs going down. I do still have a few more dogs, though, and a unit of sirens, but my Winds of Magic is starting to run pretty low. So getting a tiny bit worried now. It's mostly just hoping that this Gunnery Wight will be able to hard carry, but looking at the situation, it seems like they probably won't be able to. I don't really have an answer to Taurox, so I'll just call the game now. GG. Well played to Hadries. And that's going to be game 1, lost and given to Hadries. Not a great start. Not a great start. Man, this build particularly does badly against very fast monsters, since they can catch the Gunnery Wights. And usually it's hoping for a lot more archers. I would have thought it would have done better. In fact, the Gorgons went down surprisingly fast, but Taurox is such a menace here that he can cause quite a bit of problems. The alternative to try to beat this build is obviously to go for gun builds, and you have to sort of play the RNG to do better there. But in this case, lost on that front. Hadries is taking the first win. And we are moving on to the next map, which is going to be Sword of Torgald. Where are you at, Sword of Torgald? There we go. Okay, map set. So we are now counterpicking now. And we shall see if I can defeat Hadries. Does Taurox count towards a single unit count? He does, but not the single entity monster count. But yes, he doesn't cause terror or anything, so he wouldn't be a single entity monster. But most single entities would count towards... what's it? Towards a single entity cap, except for stuff like corpse carts. Hey, Neckbat. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. It's been a while, hasn't it? This one's going to be a little bit of a shorter one. Maybe I'll only play 2 best of 3s because Rubber Duck of War is hosting a tournament. And there's going to be a lot of overlap there. But it should still be good. For anyone who's playing in Rubber Duck's tournament, when is that? That's happening in like 30 minutes or something? Okay, Chaos, ban Lizards, and Wood Elves. Alright, Hadries going for the Chaos pick again. Last time I won as the Beastmen. This was not streamed, but that did go fairly well for me last time. I'm wondering if he'd be prepared for that. Alternatively, I could go for the Dark Elves, a faction that I don't practice a lot. And since this is the ranked ladder, this is a perfect time to practice them. So let's go ahead and, let's see, load up one of them builds. There we go. And I'm thinking I'll probably go for a kite style. Not playing in Rubber Ducks tournament, but it just started. So that means Hadri's also not playing in it. Oh, whoopsie daisies. Yeah, it was very unfortunate timing. I was thinking that there wouldn't be a tournament today, but apparently there is. Which means I also sort of miss out on it, but I've been taking it a bit easier on the tournaments recently. Let's go ahead and get Marathi real quick. I don't know why there's a Supreme Sorceress of Fire against Chaos. This is a preset by Falcon. Let's see, what else? In fact, what is Hadri's going to do here? I do like the Blades of the Blood Queen. That is fairly nice, and I will be running the good old Soul Stealer. But what do I do from here? Of course, Marauder Horsemen are going to be quite prevalent. So, you know, going pretty heavy on the Scourge Runner Chariots should be a fairly good idea. For Dark Rider Repeater Crossbows, I feel like that's a little bit less important. And, oh, the Supreme Sorceress of Fire is to snipe out the Hell Cannon. I see. That makes a lot of sense, yes. That is something that I will need to do. Let's see, alternatively, if I go for a Manticore, I think it might not actually make it to the Hell Cannon. So, I guess I do go for a Firecaster. Put her on a Pegasus. And then just take the Fireball on her. Everything else is more or less just an extremely heavy kite style. And then, once everything is beat up and battered down, I have the Blades of the Blood Queen to hopefully carry out the win for me. Seems like a fairly good build. Let's see, do I want this on Marathi? It's minus 10 melee attack, but I save a bit of money by not taking it. And that will let me get a little bit more. Hey, Caradoc. You have item on Marathi to snipe Hell Cannon, don't you? Oh, yes, I do. I do have the Wand of Crydon. So, it's actually, yeah. She'll be able to do that. The thing is, she can get zoned out a little bit. But I think that plus a little bit of Fireball spam should be enough to take it out. Here's hoping Hadri's doesn't have some sort of crazy plan to prevent that. At this level of play, he may very well. And the rest of my army, probably just something a little bit mobile. I have enough for Marauder Horsemen. Potentially, maybe I want some cavalry. Not a terrible choice. This is pretty weak cavalry, though. I don't have much in the way of an air force at all. How do I round out this build, guys? Let's see, I got my missile cavalry and chariots. This is such an awkward amount of money to have, though. I guess I will... I can't take back the Enchanting Beauty. Oh, boy. What do you guys think? Is Life Leeching better than a few chevrons on a unit? When it comes to Soul Stealer, I think yes. So it will likely get me an extra Soul Stealer at the very end of the game, which is quite important. You know, maybe I could get some Witch Elves. Witch Elves are pretty cool, I guess. You know what? Let's just get the random Witch Elves in the kite build. Good enough for me. And there we go. Ready. Good luck, have fun, Hadri's. Let's do it. Maybe a couple Dark Riders and at least one Knight. The thing is, I have no money. That's a bit of the problem. I'm really banking on Hadri's having a Hell Cannon, which a bit of a risky thing to do, but we'll try it out. I'm sort of this is a matchup that I'm actually still learning, so lessons will likely be learned today to prevent dog spam with horse archers. I do have the Blades of the Blood Queen. I have one of the most elite infantry units in the entire game. But I think having at least a couple Dark Riders would have been good. It's mostly just undefended missile cavalry, which can get quite scary. As for the forces of Hadri's, he does have a very small army. So that's definitely a fairly big plus for me. Got my missile cavalry, I got my casters. And I also have, let's see here, get out of that control group. I do have a decent amount of infantry. Of quite elite infantry too. They will be mostly hanging back while I play this kite game. And then the rest of my army can be quite aggressive. Operation number 1, kill any hell cannons I see. Operation number 2, kite down any anti-kite elements with the chariots. And then win the infantry fight with chariots plus executioners. I don't think Chaos has too many tools to deal with this. So let's hope we can not get 2-0'd by Hadri's. Does the item from Marathi really kill a hell cannon reliably? I don't know if drop artillery will dodge it. That's a bit of the problem. It will force Hadri's to drop artillery, which means that he won't be shooting at my skirmishers. Definitely a big plus. But I don't really know if that's going to be worth the price of buying it. We'll see though. Worst case scenario, I do have fireball spam to help me out. I will be using that quite a bit. And he is ready. We can dive on into the game now. And what are we seeing? Oh, hey, cool. There are actually no things of no hell cannons. So that's a fairly big plus. He does have double manticore. Mostly chaos warrior great weapons, not particularly scary. And right away, Marathi can start her spirit leeching or soul stealering. It should be quite nice. Let's see here. What do I want to hit? Probably the manticores, just to get them to rampage. That feels like a good idea. And let's see. I hit some dogs. He does split fairly well though. It's a good play on Hadri's, but the damage that I'm getting on the dogs is really nice here. Marathi can dive in to fight the manticore too, and I am fairly advantaged against it. Dogs have charged in onto my chariots, which I'm not particularly worried about. And oh boy, the Marauder horsemen are going to be a bit of a problem. Marathi, get out of there, Marathi. Oh boy. Okay, well, I almost threw the game a tiny bit there from Marathi getting absolutely murdered by Marauder horsemen. Let's see here. Oh my gosh, she routes off to and in a terrible direction. Okay, so now we are going into emergency mode, trying to salvage this situation a bit. Obviously, you do not want to be losing your Marathi, but the Supreme Sorceress should be able to support her at least a little bit. I think that was the final transmutation that went down on her. But if she's completely off the battlefield, that would be quite bad. I do still have my chariots though, which is good. I do still have my Blades of the Blood Queen. Oh, and she shatters. Well, that's very bad. But hey, look, I do still have the Blades of the Blood Queen. I got my chariots, you know. Maybe not all is lost. I have successfully killed off 2 manticores at the cost of my entire lord. Oh boy, that's terrible. But let's see. Let's see. The chariots can get quite a bit of damage. The Supreme Sorceress obviously losing pretty hard to the manticore. She gets routed off too. Oh boy, and that's probably gonna be it. Oh my gosh, absolutely terrible misplay. Getting Marathi caught up in the crossfire of the Marauder horsemen. I had a pretty good start catching off the manticores, but that's going to be it. GG, well played to Hadri's. And we're going to close off the game there. Oh my gosh, brutal. Brutal, absolutely just devastating match there to kick off the day. But hey, lessons learned. Definitely a little bit overzealous with Marathi. I think the rest of the build was actually in fairly good shape. And let's see here. Did I want double manticore? Maybe I wanted double manticore to counter this. It was a really nice play to get that big final transmutation. That definitely hurt me a lot. And then let's see what else. The Chaos Marauders probably wouldn't have been too much of a problem, but anyways, nevertheless, that is the game. Yeah. Alright, GG's. Alright, so let's go ahead and queue up into the next match. Oh boy, terrible, terrible. So that's a loss. And then we will re-queue. Feel free to join if you want. And hey, look at that. We queued up against Butcherbird. Oh, that's a custom battle. But yes, that was premium Marathi play right there. But yeah, it does teach a good lesson though. Marathi can go very aggressive, but you have to be careful not to go past the tipping point, lest she get absolutely murdered. Does the item, let's see, as you remember, 2 overcast dark arrows from the lore of magic killed Dark Cannon. What do you mean dark arrows? Oh, what the? Where's Butcher Bird? Dark arrows? As in like... Because the lore of Dark doesn't have any arrows. I don't think. I know, what's it? Dreadlords on their mount. Yeah, volley of dark arrows. Yeah, 2 overcast dark arrows. I don't know what you mean by from this lore of magic, but whatever. I'm assuming Crowfather is Butcher Bird. So let's go ahead and get started. Butcher Bird is picking first. We are on Southern Chaos Wastes, which is a map somewhere here. Come on. Doombolt? Oh yes, Doombolt. There you go. There you go. That makes a lot more sense. Yeah, I think Doombolt is good. Do you guys know if Doombolt is dodgeable if you drop artillery? That's sort of an important point. Map is set, Butcher Bird. Yeah. Marathi has it on her item, but not her spell kit. Yeah. Although, I've seen people take volley of dark arrows on the Dreadlord before to counter that sort of Hell Cannon playstyle. Chaos, again! Banning coast counts and coast. Alright, well, let's go ahead and play Dark Elves again. I feel like a lot of people are actually opting for the Chaos pick nowadays. And yeah, a lot of people are opting for the Chaos pick, so I need to be able to make sure I'm well practiced in all of their counters. I will take a Dreadlord this time, just for the fun of it. Let's take him on a Dark Pegasus so that he may kite at least a tiny bit. And then, yeah, take the volley of dark arrows. And that's basically it. I've seen people take this guy on a dragon, though. It does mean that I am a little bit more vulnerable in the air. Alternatively, I could go for a completely non-kite style to counter the fact that Chaos is expecting a kite. And you know what? Maybe that's the better option here. Something like a double assassin type of play. And then, you know, yeah, let's try that out. Perhaps this is because Hadri's did a number on me against my Marathi build. And you know what? Maybe it is, but I want to try this out anyways. Going for a more very elite build this time, actually. I'll go for 3 Harganeth Executioners with ample tools to kill off a Hell Cannon. In this case, it's going to be, I guess Marathi on foot? I don't know. How do you kill a Hell Cannon? What map are we on? Very large, flat map. You know what? I'll take a Reaper Bolt Thrower. Why not? Why not? And then go for a couple of range units to help supplement this build. I will need my guys to be fairly tanky since I don't have as much of a front line, and I think hand bows will be fairly good at that. This way I don't need to invest as much into my infantry. Then I should be fine. The 2 assassins will be great in the melee fight. If anything decides to dive in on me, it will have most of the items on Marathi. This is the usual kit that you see with her. So we'll see how it goes. Please Hell Cannon Doombolt. I got a Bolt Thrower. I think I'll be fine. Alternatively, if Butcher Bird here manages to snipe my Bolt Throwers, I will have other tools to win it out here. But let's see. I can upgrade my guys a tiny bit. Let's go ahead and try out some Hellebroni. I don't know how to say their names, but let's try them out. These guys, they do have poison and slightly better stats. I think that's about it. They also have expert charge defense, so closer to Silverin actually. Let's see if they can do well here. Okay, ready. Let's go ahead and ready up and hope that we have enough to win it out. I think against Hadri's build this would work. And I'm banking on Butcherbird doing something similar this time. How does a Hell Cannon do versus a Bound Doombolt from Marathi's Wand? A lot of people are saying that it does well, so I'm banking on them being correct here. High Enticity take Shades? I would, but I really want to try out the Executioners. They seem pretty fun. And I'd like to know how they trade up against, you know, Chaos Warriors and so on. I can go Manticore spam, also a pretty fun option. Summoned ones will kill the crew very well. The thing is, I'm wondering if the skirmishers can shield away any Manticores. Maybe not. But we will see. How do you guys feel about this matchup, though? I think a lot of people before said that it was pretty Dark Elf favored. Dark Elves 2, they recently got a sort of unintended buff because of the extra range on their AoE spells, particularly Soul Stealer. Let's see here, Butcher Bird. But yeah, so, you know, Dark Elves, they got their buff too, so there's reason to expect that they should be doing better. But I have no idea. I play Dark Elves very little, so in terms of the overall meta, I am fairly new here. No comments in chat. I guess we'll have to figure out. If this day is just me playing against Chaos, it would be fairly good practice for me. Actually, not a lot of people in ODM practice Chaos either, but I feel like I should be winning these matchups. If it is indeed favored, good luck, have fun to Butcherbird. And for the build today, it's going to be basically the opposite of what I did against Hadri's. It's going to be a very chunky, very strong front line for me, with Corsairs in the back as my anti-skirmish tool. They will trade quite well into Marauder Horsemen. I have the Bolt Thrower to counter any Hell Cannon play that we see, and I'm hoping that it doesn't get sniped out. If it does, I will have my Wand of Koraidon, and that should be able to perform well against the Hell Cannon, but important to note, Marathi, she is on foot. So not exactly the best situation for closing distance. But for the build, it is going to be a fairly similar build this time, actually, although lacking in the heavy dog spam, which is significant. But more importantly for me, the front line is a lot less tuned to deal with elite infantry. So my Hergoneth Executioners are going to be a lot more scary. And I do have this Bolt Thrower, which should work quite well against the Horsemen and the Dragon Ogres. Footcaster might get ganked, you fear? It's Marathi, though. Marathi never gets ganked. Just absolutely never. I've never seen her get ganked in my life. Also important to note, too, these Horsemen, they do have longer range than the Corsairs, so I will have to do a little bit of dodging to make sure that they don't take too much damage. But otherwise, looks like I will be able to get in a few volleys here. There we go, that's a really nice one. Poking away at the Marauder Horsemen and just dancing back and forth should do me quite well. I'm not worried about dogs in the slightest. And as long as the Bolt Thrower is poking away at these Dragon Ogres, I'm feeling decently safe here. Another volley comes out. Just gotta make sure that I'm dodging. That volley I did not dodge as well. The Corsairs are taking pretty good damage right now. A little bit scary. But it does mean that the Horsemen will eventually run out of ammo against my forces, and that means that the Executioners, they will be having a much better time, since these Horsemen, once they're down, there's not going to be a whole ton for them. Once out of ammo, there won't be a whole ton of options to actually kill the Executioners, so that should be fairly good for me. At this point, my Knight Assassins do take a bit of a beating from Sartorial. A little bit unfortunate, but they get a good amount of damage back, so I'm feeling okay there. As for these Dragon Ogres, Not too worried about them, as I don't think they are extremely effective here, but I could be very wrong. The horsemen too have run over one of my corsairs, which is pretty unfortunate. I don't really have too many spears nearby, but I guess I can bring in the Hellebroni, and we'll see how well they do. Sartorial too, moving in to fight my single entity squad. I'm really banking on them being able to win the engagement here. And so far it seems like they're doing a good job keeping Sartorial back. As for the Marauder Horsemen, a lot of them are getting traded out to shut down my range tools, which I think is a good trade for me. As for Sartorial, I will continue debuffing him and hounding him down with the assassins. But a little bit of an unexpected event. The Dragon Ogres are actually going to be a little bit more threatening than I initially anticipated. Seems like they routed off one of my executioners so far, and these guys are likely going to need the support of my spears to make sure that they don't die. As for the Marauder Horsemen, it seems like the Corsairs are doing a decent job against them, so I'm feeling very good on that front. My executioners, although one routed off, it looks like they will be coming back, and thankfully they do, which means that I'm feeling very comfortable here now. Marathi is extremely high on HP. My executioners are doing well, and although these Marauder Horsemen are posing quite a few problems over the course of the game, I think it's not going to be enough for Butcher Bird to take the win. Now, I am looking for another Soul Stealer. Marathi is at fairly high HP, but it's still worth it to throw it down if I can hit something like these Marauder Horsemen. Or I think Horse Masters in this case, yeah. I will sort of need to worry about Final Transmutation, but there's not exactly... There's not too many things I can really do against it. So for now, I guess I'm just casting a Soul Stealer on these Dragon Ogres. And this should work very well because I'm expecting it to hit basically everything. And it does. Does it hit Sartorial? Unfortunately, it does miss. But chunking down the Dragon Ogres is going to be helping me out quite a bit. And it seems like this build should work quite well. A successful punish of at least this Chaos build. He didn't go very hard into the anti-skirmish play, but I think if there were more dogs, I would still be in decent shape. And perhaps this is something that I'll want to mix in if I do end up facing up against Chaos next time. Really good. The game is not over yet, although the hero squad is just at such high HP. I don't think there's anything Chaos can really do here. I guess, you know, an overcast Final Transmutation could cause me a lot of problems, so I won't be grouping up my infantry, but with the executioners winning basically all of their fights, there is not really much to worry about. Assassins will be moving up. They will continue to harry Sartorial, and I will still have like 2 more Soul Stealers in the pocket, which means that Marathi is definitely not anywhere close to dying at this point in the game. Hello, Ninja. Nice to have you on stream. It's been basically forever since I've streamed Warhammer, but I'm excited to get a few in every once in a while. Although I have mostly shifted to more like focused and shorter edited content. I'm very happy to get in some streams. And hey, there we go, it's army losses. Fairly fast army losses, surprisingly enough, but there we go. That's going to be GG from Butcher Bird, which means we get the first win of the day. Amazing. Feels good to have elite infantry work. Yeah, a lot of the time, for a while, we didn't really have much elite infantry. I know in the metas before, like a really, really long time ago, basically when I started playing Warhammer, there were quite a few elite infantry builds, but nowadays it's sort of mellowed out to larger armies, which I think is showing just a tendency towards, you know, higher level of play where you can control more units at once. Love the content I've been making. Thank you very much. I've been putting in a lot of work into the content, like just tons of editing. Trying to make sure that it's refined as possible, trying to experiment with a lot of ideas. And yeah, so far it's going pretty well. I'm pretty happy with a lot of the stuff that I'm putting out recently. But I'll still be experimenting. Now for the value, the guys on the left that got hit by the dragon ogres got routed off pretty quickly. And next time I think it'll be better to support them with spears. The corsairs did very well for themselves. I quite enjoyed that. And the bolt thrower, even though I was getting rushed, still did decent value. So I think all in all, yeah, everything basically did well. I'm wondering though, against the great weapon infantry, how well the executioners will do. And we'll only know by getting in more games. Handbows are definitely yes for this matchup. Yeah, against the horsemen, they seem to be a pretty big pain. They basically kept the executioners safe for the entire battle. So quite good, quite good. And Hadri's, yeah, you main Dark Elves as one of your core factions. So whatever you say, I'm trusting your word on it. It can be, control me as much as you want now. Hey, and look at that, we're on Astalian Tomb next, a heavily forested map with very close deployment zones. Pretty interesting, sort of like a better troll country. I'm going to go coast again, banning the wood elf and the vampire counts. Or do I leave counts open? Maybe not today. Let's go with the standard bans and work on my actual tournament practice. Because eventually I will want to dive back into the tournament scene. Just, you know, as soon as I have the time and willpower to do so. The Warhammer 3 news hopefully coming up soon. I'm really hoping that you know, the tournaments spike up again and we'll be good to go. You respect the fact that the videos are short and factual rather than drawn out for the sake of video length. It's interesting. I don't know how video length actually plays into YouTube stuff nowadays. Oh, it looks like the dwarves. Hey, look at that. We get the Coast vs. Dwarves matchup. Sweet. But yeah, I think, but I do really like trimming it down as much as possible. I like the videos to be extremely digestible. Before, I was doing okay though with my, you know, 6-hour streams. But having the really short digestible content I think is very useful for people that just want to understand concepts really quickly. Let's see, let's go, yeah, the classic build. Classic, Butcherbird's gonna know about it, but can he defeat it is the important question. Oh, actually, the dwarves here, they're going to have a lot of rangers possibly in my backline, so it's probably better to fit in more scurvy dogs this time around. Do I want anything else? I could fit in a zombie. That would go okay. I don't want to get gyrocopter cheesed, so I will take another unit of fell bats. Okay, there we go. Now I'm ready. We just need Troy to come out. Ah, yes. Good old Troy. You know, well, actually, yeah. Troy, they have like a DLC that's like monsters and stuff, right? Feels like, yeah, Troy is Warhammer now, essentially. You think you need somewhere... Oh, you read somewhere that 10 to 15 minutes is considered optimal? Well, my content ranges from either 1 minute long to 6 hours, so maybe I'm not hitting that sweet spot for YouTube. But, you know, I'm just doing whatever's best for the content. It feels like YouTube is willing to support shorter videos than the 10-minute minimum it previously supported because of the shorts that they added. Yeah, I've been experimenting with that. My shorts have done basically the same as all of my other videos, but I'm like, I think my shorts are some of my most proud videos, just because it feels really nicely put together. Although that's me critiquing my own work, but yeah, I'm enjoying it. Yeah, Mythos coming out for Troy. Does anyone here actually play Troy though? I played it for like a tiny bit, but then, you know, I just switched over to Warhammer again. And like, I think it's really fun. If Total War Warhammer didn't exist, I'd probably enjoy Troy, I think, but honestly, I can't play any other games. Like, you know, there's tournaments to practice for, there's YouTube videos to make, there is the ladder to work on. It's a lot. It's quite a bit to actually, you know, get everything fit into one day. Since it's coming out on Steam, you think they're treating this like the next, sort of like a re-release of Troy. I see. That makes a lot of sense. You're going to play it on Steam most likely. Cool. Let's see. Let's make a left side deployment. White line is very far away, so I think I'm safe from any white line rule breaks. But if there are cannons over here, well, Queen Bess is going to be just a tiny bit screwed. In fact, very screwed. Sirens are going to be taking to the sides. Let's see, if I put Queen Bess in the middle, it's basically going to be eating cannon fire at the start of the battle. Not the greatest position in the slightest. But we will have to make do. If there are rangers, I might lose Bess. And, oh, someone just subbed. Thank you very much, Ryan G. But yeah, Queen Bess. I'm not sure how I want to do this. So for those of you guys skipping to this point in the video, this is going to be time-stamped. All you guys watching in the stream right now, this is irrelevant to you. But yeah, this is a game against the dwarves. This is my standard Vampire Coast build that I bring. And I take it because the sirens are able to slow down the dwarf approach for so long that they actually allow Queen Bess to get insane amounts of value. The goal is to focus down the master engineers and then kite any other heroes with my hero squad here. I have anti-gyro tools, but mostly I'm worried about range units from the dwarves or perhaps a Slayer rush. So let's see what Butcherbird decides to go this time. He does take a center deployment, which is fairly good for me, with artillery, which means that I will have to advance as quickly as possible. These guys, they're going to be moving up. The scurvy dogs just sniffing out for any dwarves in the woods. And then I can start manual firing with Queen Bess. Sometimes I do hit it, and when I do, it is amazing. But most of the time I miss, unfortunately. And there we go, another shot rings out. Oh, I was so close. I just barely clipped the artillery crew. But unfortunately, does miss. Queen Bess will be retreating back now into the forest. I definitely don't want it getting hit by the cannons here. And to shut them down, I do have my fell bats, which will be suiciding in to try and get them to rout. Now, this sort of bait tactic works particularly well, because the fact that the cannons have to advance means that these sirens, they're going to be in pretty great shape. Wow, there's no range units here? That's amazing for me. I can completely dive in onto the cannons now and try to get them to rout. But yeah, so this style of play it forces the dwarves to advance towards me. And that means that the sirens, they can pretty easily dive in onto these artillery pieces while Queen Bess runs for the hills. And already we are seeing they are starting to get routed off. Let's see here. These miners are going to be a little bit of a problem, but I really need the artillery crews to be routing if I'm going to do well here. The dogs are in the back, ready to dive in onto them when the moment is right. And there we go. We do see one of the artillery crews routing. So there we go. Let's see here. Manual fire and AI fire are on separate cooldowns. Yeah, I know, right? It's crazy. You can power fire Queen Bess by doing that. It's great, and it's legal because it takes extra micro to actually pull off. So people are actually fine with that being possible. Now here we go. The scurvy dogs, they are suiciding in just a tiny bit. Oh boy, and some cannon shots are firing on Queen Bess. So I will have to pull it back again. But taking a look at the artillery crews, it looks like we killed off one. One is running for the hill. The scurvy dogs are going to need to slip by as well as they can. And then as long as I'm chasing these guys off, Queen Bess will be able to finish out the rest of the game by simply shelling the dwarves while I run for the hills. So I'm looking forward to that because right now things are going quite well. except for the fact that all my scurvy dogs are dying. That is very bad, and they're all gone. So, the scurvy dogs, they were a little bit important to the build. Not completely core. I didn't fully need them to win here, but it means that it will be much harder to actually chase down units at this point in the game. I will have my deck dropper handguns, and they are going to now move in to chase off these slayers. They do have infinite ammunition, which will be helping them out a ton, and Queen Bess, of course, will be firing too, mostly at any units that I can find, really. With the cannon crews all off the battlefield, it means that I should be fairly safe at this point. And yeah, now I'm playing the game as if the dwarves didn't have any artillery, which is actually a very great position for me. These slayers will be slowly getting picked off, and even without the scurvy dogs, I'm feeling very safe here. But yeah, Queen Bess, if you can actually manage to hit things, you can get pretty nice value here. I'm going to try that out with these deck droppers, and then we'll see how that goes. For my sirens, they're going to be slowing down the dwarf lines quite a bit, and there's nothing to really contest the depth guard at this point, but I have to be a tiny bit careful. Over a very long fight, they may end up losing, so you have to be a little bit wary of them. And there we go, a manual fire. Darn it, misses the slayers, unfortunately. They might actually be able to close in on Queen Bess, but I think the lead in sirens that I have should be able to win it for me. We'll have to see. I really want to make sure Queen Bess actually lives though, and I might dismount the artillery to keep it safe. These miners with blasting charges, they're being a bit of a pain, a tiny bit hard to chase off. I'm going to move my gunnery wights to the right side to try and get them off the battlefield. And it seems like these slayers, they will be going down, thankfully. They shouldn't really be able to kill Queen Bess at this point, with how few their numbers are. But we'll have to be a tiny bit careful. As for my depth guard, we definitely don't want them to be dying. And how are the slayers doing? There's 8 of them left. They are on top of Queen Bess now. I will need my lord to show up to actually support here. And I might actually lose the depth guard, which is going to be another misplay on my part, which could very well make things very bad for me. Hopefully I'll be able to bring them into safety. We will have to see, but there we go. Last of the slayers going down, just down to 2 now, which is great. But I'm rapidly running out of my front line, and that's going to be a bit of a problem. Queen Bess firing in onto these dwarf units. Should be able to get in a lot of damage, but I particularly need to kill the Peak Gate Guard. They are probably the most problematic unit here at this point. And we'll see if I can beat them. I do have 2 gunnery wights, which is very good. Most of the dwarf units are really beat up too, and I do still have 2 units of sirens. So all of that is a fairly good sign for me. I will need to restock ammunition on Queen Bess though, to make sure that it can continue firing. And as for the deck droppers, they will be getting more ammunition too, as they are very important for killing off slayers, as you can see. For Thorek, I'm not particularly worried about him. He will die to the gunnery wights fairly fast. And then, let's see, Queen Bess, you can halt fire now, as I slowly regroup my forces. I have tons of invocations in the hack, and that will be helping me out here. Let's see, but I really need to deal with these miners, and the main tool for that is the sirens, so they will be running home as quickly as they possibly can. Queen Bess, let's go ahead and line up a shot and see if I can blast these slayers. There we go, successfully hit them, which means that they are slowed now. And that's going to be very great for me. My lord can freely go into combat too, because she does have actually fairly nice combat stats. And the dwarves are just going to be trying to close in as much as they can. Queen Bess, I will shoot another shot at the slayers. Like I said, they are fairly problematic, and I definitely want to be killing them off as quickly as possible. And I'm going to start using Mina Hex right now. I have so much Winds of Magic, I don't really need to use it any faster. So that should be good. The dwarves slowly, it's sort of like zombies, just slowly advancing towards me. A little bit scary, but right now I'm feeling extremely comfortable with all of the the plays that I've made so far, it seems like the dwarves shouldn't really be able to win it here, especially with these deck droppers who are going to be picking off the rest of the slayers. Once they're gone, the sirens can work most of the rest. My lord has run out of ammunition, so I will have to restock her. And there's a little bit of a worry on the ammunition front. I will have to figure that out one way or another, but I'm not entirely sure the best way to do that right now. Thoric will be dying very quickly, so he shouldn't be a problem at all. But let's see. Of course, he can kill the sirens. My lord will have to try killing him here. As for this gunnery wight, I will be saving him with the Queen Bess shot. There we go, just right into all of those guys. And at this point, I don't really need to give Bess much more ammunition, as I think it's going to be a lot more important to give ammo to my heroes at this point. The slayers are going down, which is great. This gunnery wight has successfully killed off those dwarves on the other flank. And the sirens with their support, well, they should be able to carry me out here to a victory, since the rest of the dwarf units aren't particularly scary. Of course, a peak gate guard, they are sort of just sitting back in the distance, ready to ruin my day. But they're so slow, I'm not really worried that they're going to be ending me here. I do have to be a bit wary of them, but as long as I have even the slightest amount of ammunition left, I think I'll be okay. Even better when if Queen Bess comes back and I do have another cast of extra powder on it, that will also help me out immensely. So let's go ahead and get an Invocation of Nahak. I will overcast it. Gotta make sure those sirens survive. The gunnery wights poking away at Thoric. Looks like they are doing a-okay. And then the Queen Bess crew, they're just going to be running for the hills. I will have to still clear out the rest of this dwarf infantry, which is going to be a little bit scarier than I would have hoped. But let's see, with the gunnery wights at full ammo, I think I'm okay. I'm sort of looping on myself here now because this is a very slow and grindy process. But I think I should be okay, especially with the sirens now chasing a few of these guys off. I just have to be really wary about the peak gate guard. They are going to be quite the problem. And the rest of my ammunition, I think, is going to go on my lord. The reason? Her pistol shots will be killing off the peak gate guard extremely well, as I think it will be piercing them at the same time. And yeah, hopefully that carries me to the win. Some more Nahaks on the sirens too, very important, so that they can continue fighting and that my heroes can continue kiting. Some dwarf warriors too. It looks like they're on the verge of routing, so I'm actually going to force a terror rout on them by charging them in the back, along with attacking them with my sirens. And it looks like that does work quite well. And then my heroes can now shoot at the peak gate guard. Thoric, like I said, is no problem at all. And there we go. I do manage to get the terror rout as expected. And my lord is going to kite off the peak gate guard. And now it's going to transition into a kite game. So here we go. Let's see here. My heroes are going to be running. My sirens are going into melee. My lord with her pistol will be taking care of the peak gate guard. The gunnery wights splitting up. And with a ton of extra ammunition, I should be just fine. Hey, and there we go. The peak gate guard even turn around, which means that the gunnery wights can turn and fire in onto them. That should get in some pretty nice damage there. And actually, I'm going to start hunting down Thoric. I'll use my bats to do so, and then use my sirens to harry these dwarf warriors for as long as I can. So let's pin them down. Let's get the artillery piece back up. Thoric's actually been camping Queen Bess, which is actually pretty hilarious. But here we go. I will be able to dive in on top of him now with my lord. He does have fairly good combat stats, but my lord has higher HP. He actually can't flee easily either because of the rest of my bats sort of just fully surrounding him. So I think he should be going down soon. The peak gate guard are still a bit of a problem, but with my gunnery wight ammunition, I think I am fine on that front. And my Lord is taking an insane amount of damage, so I will actually have to pull her away and try to get her to safety. As for these dwarf warriors, they are a lot less of a problem, as I can now catch them with my sirens, and with the constant shots of the gunnery wights, I think I'm okay. Potentially a manning of Queen Bess here could work out well. I don't actually have extra powder, but I think this will make it so that the dwarf player here, Butcher Bird, actually starts worrying about shutting it down. So hopefully that goes well. And it looks like the Peak Gate Guard actually do change directions because they are worried about Queen Bess. So that's going to be very good. As for these poor Peak Gate Guards, sadly seeing basically no combat for the entire game, getting shot down, they will definitely be going down. Another heal onto my Sirens will be getting the dwarves closer to army losses. And then I think that should be game. Oh my gosh. Absolutely intense here. Now this spell, by the way, it doesn't do magic damage, so you can see it doesn't actually hurt the Sirens very much. But yeah, there we go. We got the dwarves into army losses, and that's going to be it. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, and there we go. A nice clean game. Now, obviously big misplays. I lost the depth card. Had they lived, I would have had a very easy win at the end there. The Scurvy Dogs too would have really made things a lot easier. But the very important point here is shutting down the cannons first, so that Queen Bess could get a good amount of value. These pistol bats too paid for themselves twice fold, and this is why I take them. They are amazing against Slayers in the late game, and my heroes, of course, doing quite well against the Peak Gate Guard. So there we go. A very fun build. Feel free to steal it. Although it can be a little bit difficult to pilot for your first few games. But there we go. GG. Oh my goodness. All right. Nice. And now I can report the win and queue up for another match, and we'll see who I actually run into. There's actually a few people playing now, which is very nice. I do like to see the ladder getting a little bit of life injected into it. And we just gotta wait for other people to come in. I made it seem so easy. Did I? Did I? It got pretty close there. The balance of power definitely wavered a couple times. But actually, that was a really fun replay. Maybe I should send that into Turin or something. You know, get that replay cast by someone. Let's see, did I save it properly? I did. You know what? Let's send it in. I think it was pretty fun. Let's see. Although I don't know if it's close enough to actually be worth casting for Turin, but you know, if he wants to, he can. I really like that dwarf build though. I want to popularize it so that people think that it's a Vampire Coast favored matchup. That would be my dream. VP versus dwarves. There we go. And that's game number 2,500 for me. Man, I've played a lot of Warhammer. I've played so much Warhammer, guys. Maximum gaming with the double best shots. Yeah. Queen Bess, you can increase its fire rate by about 50 to 70% by manual firing. It's great. Now in this game, it didn't actually pay for itself because I had to spend a lot of time shooting at other stuff. But it did bait the cannons into a pretty bad position, so that worked out quite well for me. You guys should really try it out there, though. Let me see if I can load up the build. Ignore the fact that there's 4 lizardmen and the map is a siege battle. Just ignore that. Just ignore that. Let's see here. Where's the build? Oh, actually, it loaded up. That's interesting. Yeah, so this is the build against the dwarves. These guys are very good versus Slayers. These 5 units. Queen Bess forces the dwarves to advance, which means that your Sirens are going to get a lot more value. They will just be constantly harrying any quarrelers that they run into, and they'll generally do very well. And in the late game, if it's ever melee units only, you're going to win it with these 3 guys. which, yeah, that's basically the style. This is one of my most refined builds. So try it out. Copy it. Should not have bothered with the cannons. Yeah, Butcherbird. Those cannons got so little value. I think if you camped your slayers on top of them, it might have gone a little bit better. But then I would have had Bess just shooting your slayers like crazy. Oh man. So by the way, for anyone who doesn't know, you can queue up into my ladder by going onto the Discord in the description, going to the Find Matches channel and typing in !Q. If you do that right now, you can match up into me, because we're currently looking for a game. You cannot camp because of Bess. Yeah, indeed. That build was a little bit sketchy though. I was really worried you were gonna mass Vanguard, Quarrelers, and Miners on me, and that would have actually been pretty bad. Should have just gone Rangers and Advanced, yeah. This build does beat Rangers though, so don't kick yourself too much. I've played it against ODM a ton, and I gotta say, it has a pretty high win rate. It has a pretty high win rate, very close to the triple digits. Yeah, this one's really fun. One thing that I have been working on though is how to beat Beastmen. Man, Beastmen this patch are so scary, even without the chariots. Let's see here. So here's my here's my kite build against Beastmen. I take this against things like Mogre if I'm expecting him, and this will usually do pretty good if they only have 4 harpies in the air. If I want to punish Beastmen for going for monsters though, I go for what's it? This build. Nope, not that build. I go for like a traditional gun build, you know, like handguns and bombers. And maybe I should be doing that, you know? You know, maybe I should. A return to old school coast against the Beastmen. Yeah, like something like this. Maybe I should. Oh my gosh, Ryan G. $5? Oh my gosh, thank you very much. Ever tried Cetra Necrotect Tomb Prince Chaos Chariot build? The Necrotect item plus Cetra's explosion debuff melts single entity monsters. Let me take a look at this. I might try that out in the next game, actually. You know, I want to try getting in a few Tomb King's first picks. So what, the Necrotect has like a fire damage thing? 20% weakness to fire damage. That's pretty interesting. Okay. And then you give Cetra his fire damage with this bad boy. They get minus 34 melee attack. You know, maybe that's maybe I should do a Tomb King's Rush. That's actually pretty hype. I'll try it out. But for now though, theory crafting. How do you beat Beastmen, guys? How do you beat Beastmen? You can take Noctilus, you can put him on a Necrofex. This is extremely good versus Centigores. Also, by the way, Ryan G, your support is extremely appreciated. You basically funded me for like, you know, 3 YouTube videos, which is a lot of time spent. Unfortunately, ad revenue is actually pretty low, but you know, I do this as a hobby, so I'd be happy doing it more or less for free. Now, I could go for the double gunnery white here, but if this is proper old school coast, you actually pass up on the gunnery whites and you go for something else instead. Deck gunners, a potential option here if I really want to shoot things down, but against Beastmen, I don't think deck gunners are the option. Probably just more handguns and then like some sirens to hold the fort. Actually, this build is pretty good. This build is pretty good. Let's see. Is this legal? Can I take that many bombers and handguns? I'm gonna check. Just found out Tomb Kings have an ability that lets the Tomb King snipe a lord very well. Oh, what's the ability? Like what? Arc in the Black and Spirit Leech? Or something more shenaniganry? I do know that there's the ability that increases your fire rate, so you can shoot with your Ushapti a bit faster. Okay, no, these guys are variants, so I can't go that ham, unfortunately. Double Gunnery White are the Vampire Coast version of Double Paladin. Yeah. Silostra Cyrene Depth Guard debuff ball. See, I tried the debuff ball. It's actually a little bit worse than you might expect against Beastmen. They can run over the debuff ball pretty hard if you're not careful. Now I do want to get more handguns. I do have a million Syrenes, so that's fine. I have an insane front line. Man, this build looks sick. This build looks amazing. What could possibly beat this? Maybe like a bunch of Harpies, probably. Harpies would probably be really annoying here. And I don't have any answers to them. Which sorta sucks. And if I do take Fellbats, then it sorta gets a problem too. You know, maybe Harpies will die to this. You know what? You know what? Am I crazy? Do hand cannons win against Harpies, guys? This is... You know what? Next game against Beastmen right now. Someone go Beastmen against my Coast, and I will bring this build. Let's see, Vampire Coast versus Beastmen. Yeah, this is my new anti-Beastmen build. No one can tell me that it's terrible. Wrath and Ruin doesn't do magic damage. It doesn't, Butcher Bird. It doesn't. As you can see here on the dwarf side of things, good old Thorek. Wrath and Ruin only does fire damage. Who would have guessed? Now you can increase its damage with the Ironbeard's Ring. Oh my gosh, you just have to take a Thane. Look at that. And then you get extra fire damage there. You know what? Maybe there's a dwarf fire damage build, right? You take... This is what you do. You go Thorek, right? You go, you take the fire resistance, because why not? You take miners, because the blasting charges do fire damage. Double Thane. Both of them with extra weakness to fire damage. This is a dumb build. This feels like a really dumb build, because you only have one extra source of fire damage. But like, you know, you get extra 20% damage on everything. For the low, low price of 1,000 gold. Jeez, this is a terrible build. This is, oh my gosh, not good. Oh, looks like Deadly Bunnies just won a game though. Perhaps they will re-queue and we get to play. Shows how much you play dwarves. My build does capitalize on the fact that people don't play dwarves often. Yeah, ROR Slayers, amazing. Amazing. Oh my gosh, Deadly Bunnies queued into Butcher Bird? What is this rigged ladder system? How dare you? Who made this thing? Garbage. ROR Slayer stack with fire weakness. Yeah, if the fire weakness thing was just a little bit... Oh, actually, you know what? You know what, this dwarf build? Look at this. Flame cannons. Brimstone guns. Look at this. It's so much fire damage. It's so gold. Oh my gosh. This is the build, guys. It doesn't get much better than this. This is the best dwarf build in the game. Also, by the way, there is an event running on my ladder right now for anyone interested. There are random prize pools floating around in the ladder, so if you play some games, there's a good chance you might actually win a few. So check it out. I'm going mad just a little bit. This is what happens if I don't get to play enough Warhammer in a certain amount of time. Yeah, I just start going insane. Get the perfect spend fire build. Yeah, I don't know if anything, is anything here cost 25? 22? Come on, chevrons. This needs to hit 0 for it to work out. Like, see, this is taking way too long. I don't know why people are watching this. Think of the glorious fire. Like, honestly, it's a pretty fun meme build. None of these units are actually terrible. So it sort of works. Oh, by the way, my vote for one of the most useless items in the game, 150 gold for a change in 10% speed. It's so bad. It's so bad. Why would you run this? Why? Oh my gosh, it's brutal. They really did the Thanes dirty. They just gave them no items. You know, you have other heroes that just debuff Helm of Discord on a hero. Meanwhile, Thanes are sitting around with minus 10% speed for the cost of upgrading this guy to a Longbeard. Jeez, why you gotta do this? But anyways, we continue to wait. I think I'll play like one more best of 3 and then probably call it a day. This is meant to be a fairly short stream today. Not planning to do anything too crazy. Maybe I'll even host some tournaments in the future. But yeah. Yeah, not much to go over. Do you guys want to see, I don't know. Is there any Vampire Coast build or playstyle you guys want to see? There are a few. Man, this build, it looks so glorious. I'm so excited to play it. It's very old school Coast. Oh, whoops, I forgot this item. Whoopsie daisies. I'll have to rework this a bit. You're out for food. Good stream, alright. Have a nice meal. Goes well with noodle. I hope you have something that goes well with noodle. Minus 50 shield missile resist. Combine it with the ROR archers and the Prince armor lower. Oh, yeah. Tomb King's sniping builds, yeah. They're pretty sick. Okay, let's see. The only way I can make the money work well on this is to cut the hand cannons, which is actually very unfortunate. Do you guys think there's a way I can do this without cutting the hand cannons? Cut a siren, add a dog. Get the hand cannons back? Yeah, here we go. Here's the build. You want to see the Coast build versus Beastmen? If someone wants to hop in and play Beastmen, we can try it out. See how this madness actually goes. Actually, this looks pretty good. I lose out on 2 units of infantry, but I get to keep the sirens. So I have a front line of 9 units. That should be enough to beat any Beastmen front line, or at least hold them off for a very long time. The bombers too are very good harpy bait. They might be able to stop them from causing too many issues. So there we go, save the build. This is pretty good. This is pretty good. I really wish I had more infantry to support this many guns. But the dogs are actually very important here. They will kill harpies extremely quickly. And plus the sirens, I should be able to peel them off of my bombers before my front line dies. That's sort of the core thing. People will, use summons and so on to shut down your bombers, and then you try to free them up as fast as possible. Let's see, ROR Centigores 2 die to Noctilus, so I'm hoping the magic damage overload or the ethereal overload manages to break them apart. Cool. How's the Rubber Duck of Wars event going, by the way? For those of you that don't know, he is hosting a tournament that I graciously overlapped my stream with. Hopefully it's doing pretty good and progressing quickly so that people get knocked out and play on my ladder. Hopefully. Also, by the way, in the meantime, one thing that I can do actually, we can see the effects of Human Boy's contribution to the... Let's see, where is it? Yeah, Human Boy's event yesterday. His event gave us the highest player base we've seen in a really long time. And I'm thinking he joined it and saw dwarves versus lizards. Oh, oh yeah. Yeah, that's just, this is just from my Kislev theory crafting stuff. I really want to get more Warhammer 3 content out, but maybe not right now, just because it takes a really long time and I'm sort of focusing on the ladder for a bit. Let's see, how do I get this thing to show the proper values? I really want to show this this player base graph, because I think Human Boy did give a pretty nice uptick to players. But I have no idea how to... Oh, I know what I did wrong. But yeah, how are you guys doing right now? Any of you guys playing a lot of Warhammer recently? I know there's a lot of bugs going on, so a lot of people are waiting for the hot fix to fix that. But right now I'm mostly enjoying myself. Let's see here. There we go. Let's copy the URL. Let's see. You guys can't see any of this right now, but I'm slowly working my way towards showing this darn graph. Let's see here. How do I copy the path? Let's see. Actually, you've been playing more than you have in a while, been less busy. Oh, that's nice. Do you usually play in clans, or are you mostly yeah, where do you get your Warhammer fix? Try the triple chariot build out in custom battles against AI Taurox while you wait. If I don't break him in under 10 seconds, he'll give me another 5. Alright, well, Ryan G, we have established I do take bribes, so I'll try it out real quick. What's this? You're saying Tomb Kings? You get Cetra? I'll put him on a chariot, because why not? Let's get the fire damage boost. Let's get well, let's go full gooning potential. I want to see how this actually goes. Taurox. We'll take him fully kitted out. And then let's see here. What was your last thing? The Tomb Prince? Does Tomb Prince have fire damage? What was your build? Necrotect Tomb Prince Chariot build. Tomb Prince has a bunch of anti-armor stuff, which is pretty good. Let's just take him decked out, why not? Alright, let's try this out, Ryan G. Tomb Prince, Necrotect, Cetra. You need a Tomb Prince as well on Chariot. Yep. Although Cetra isn't on a thing. Oh, hey, and look at that. Human Boy queued up into us. Nice. Alright, I'll get a lobby up as soon as we see this strat. What do we got? Let's get these chariot guys in. All right, we got Taurox. He has this ward save, which means that he's fairly buffed up. But will he die? I don't have enough magic for the incantation of desiccation, but the timer is on. Let's see, we're at 30 seconds. Will I be able to kill him? I forgot to use my buffs. Whoopsie daisies. I'm completely butchering this build. I think I forgot the fire damage thing on the Necrotech too. Did I? Let's see here. Taurox, what debuffs does he have? Whoops, I forgot the fire damage. Well, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. Look, if I did 200% more damage, Taurox would still be alive anyways, right? Dang, Taurox. Taurox is a beast. Come on, take him down. Kill him. Alright, there we go. Fast enough. I completely butchered the build, but it's fine. I'll do it against Human Boy. All right, let's go ahead and get the lobby up. Yeah, the cursed blades. Amazing. All right, let's try to get some actual proper tests here now. Human Boy, the lobby is up. I hope you were in chat. I'll send you an invite. Human. Oh my gosh, boy. Human Boy, what's your name on Steam? Overcast cursed blades for the anti-large. Oh, I see. Look. Look, we'll figure it out. I'll do it in this game, okay? Against Human Boy, I'm gonna first pick Tomb Kings. He's picking first. I'll counterpick with Tomb Kings. No matter what he does, it's gonna be Tomb Kings. We're gonna get this combo done right, because I butchered it very hard. Let's see. We are on Gorgazon. Let's go ahead and get Cetra decked out again. Let's go ahead and hey, there we go. Here he is. Let's go ahead and take the incantation of desiccation. I will run the Necrotect on a chariot this time with his items. There we go. And let's see. I don't really have that many constructs, but I could take them. Hey, Skaven. All right, nice. Tomb Kings. There we go. We're gonna go rush. We're gonna go a rush. Ryan G. Thank you very much. I will accept the bribe as graciously as I can. But I want to do this build justice because it does actually seem pretty sick. So we have the Necrotect. He's very decked out. I can take the Tomb Prince. And he's going to be very decked out too. Do I want the Tomb Strike? Oh god, it's not huge. But you know what? Let's just go ham. Let's go ham on it. I have my single entity squad. It will be buffed up with a single Tomb Scorpion to make sure all the heroes are gonna die. Need the Tomb Prince for the Guardian. Yep. He's got it. I got the Tomb Scorpion, and then the rest of this is just gonna be a hardcore rush. Nahakara Horsemen. Very, very scary. I don't know. Do I take Ushabti? Do I take chariots? Do I even take infantry? Probably. Let's see. Is there fast Tomb King's infantry? Oh no, there isn't. Oh man, that's gonna be sketchy. You know, do I need fast infantry if I have skeleton horsemen? Do I have enough units? Oh god, this is gonna be a janky build. But it seems like it's gonna be very fun. Seems like it's gonna be very fun indeed. Here we go. Here we go. It's not a perfect spend, but it's a max horseman rush with single entities. What will the Skaven bring to defeat this? I have no idea. But we will see. Human boy. Clan RTK. Very good clan. Very everywhere. I don't know. I actually mix up my clans very often, so I only really know about ODM, unfortunately. But here we go. We got a build. We have 400 troops. Very modest troop count. And then we have the strongest single entity squad you've ever seen. Here we go. We got Cetra. We got Tomb Prince and a Necrotect and the Tomb Scorpion. Necrotect coming in with huge buffs to damage and huge buffs to armor and weapon strength. And he also has the extra weakness to fire damage, which means that Cetra coming in with his Blessed Blade is going to be hitting for 1,000,000 damage. If there's a Hell Pit Abomination, it's going to explode within a matter of seconds. And that's going to be the plan. The rest of my army is going to be all mobility so that I can close the distance as fast as possible. And we'll see how it actually goes. You need the Tomb Prince for the Guardian. You usually go at least 3 or 4 carrion with this build. The rest are skellies and horses. Yeah, it's a little bit more of a meme this time, but yeah, we got Human Boy. He's worried. So hopefully we'll give him a good game. Hopefully. Alrighty. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just also trying to manage. I'm also trying to manage this screenshot as fast as I can. See, open an Explorer. Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness we got there. All right. Let's see here. Warhammer. What? Warhammer data analysis? Okay, there we go. Cool. I'll have the graph after this best of 3. So he's ready. And we're going to rush the Skaven. Here we go. For the Skaven side, we are seeing the Teeth Breakers and 2 Warp Lightning Cannons, which means that my chariots, they're going to have to be dodging as much as humanly possible. First shots do ring out and hit my cheaper horsemen at the start. So that's very nice. And then I'm going to take the hard flank with my single entity squad. There is a Lord Skrolk nearby. It's going to be a little bit scary. Some more dodges, some shots hitting my cavalry, hurting a lot. And we're just going to dive right in on Skrolk. With no worry in the slightest about his AoEs. There are the Teeth Breakers now coming on in. And they're going to be focusing down the Necrotect, which is definitely hurting. A lot. They take a ton of damage, but we will now be able to collapse in. I will be sneaking in my cavalry through this tiny little gap in the formation of Human Boy. And then we're just going to continue diving in straight towards Skrolk. But it looks like Cetra, he does get blocked up a tiny bit. My guys, they do manage to slip on through though. And will I be able to kill him? Let's see here. Necrotect is going to give his buffs to Cetra and the heal to that, while my chariots slam into the backs of these guys to take them out. Let's go ahead and debuff Squulk too. He does get knocked out, which means I can single him out here and hopefully take the Madman down. As for this guy, yep, let's heal up that Chariot. And then with Squulk down, oh my gosh, Squulk went down very fast though. That's actually pretty sick. With Squulk down, I should be able to hopefully get a lot of terror routes here. That's going to be the main hope. Let's see here. I will throw down a big old debuff onto all of these Skaven forces here. And then the hope is that my mass cavalry will be able to finish off the rest. I do not see Squulk, so I'm going to presume that he is dead. I do see a mass rout on basically every single Skaven unit, so I think Squulk did actually die, which is absolutely amazing. A huge rout on the Skaven side with the Lord Snipe. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of routing Skaven. That is a lot of routing Skaven. Amazing. The Scorpion has successfully shut down the artillery. And honestly, there's not much left here for me to do. Human Boy concedes, and the game is over. Wow. Wow, look at that. Look at that. Squulk, he got annihilated. 700 gold value. What? What? Save the game? Yeah, it's saved. It is saved. Oh my gosh. What just happened? What just happened? Now the 2 artillery pieces got insane value. Probably shooting my Necrotect. Same with the Teeth Breakers, but apparently all you need to do is rush. And then you're good. Yeah, Squulk got knocked out of the formation and then cancelled 4 spells in a row. Oh my gosh. Well, that's pretty nice. Cetra constantly knocking him over plus the Tomb Scorpion seemed to be pretty good. The Horsemen just cleaned up, lots of surrounds, and then a huge terror rout at the end. Yeah, it was the fire damage, of course. The Necrotech boosting Cetra's AoE explosion. Oh, that's sick. That's actually really sick. I like that. Let's see, how does this work? Is it an aura? Yeah, it's 40 meters around self, but I think the AoE bug might be helping there. Anyways, that was very fun. Let's go ahead and switch to the Vampire Coast now. And we are on Pillar of Bone. Let's see here. Pillar of Bone. Nice. VP and Vampire Counts on the Wood Elves. Very classic bands. And we'll see what Human Boy decides to go for. Hopefully Beastman, so that I can go my insane gun build. We shall see though. And in the meantime, I will continue to try and get this graph up. It's a very hard graph to set up, I must say. Let's see. So I need to open this. Yeah. Okay, here we go. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that build, courtesy of Ryan G sponsoring it. Honestly, I feel like Tomb King's Rush is very underrated. You know, everyone expects the box plus Ushabti formation. But aside from their infantry, they have a pretty nice rush. Human Boy going for the dwarves in this game. Pretty scary, considering the fact that Bess could get sniped out. Am I audacious enough to go for the very same coast build against his dwarves? Let's see here, where is it? Vampire Coast. Yeah, this one. What do I think Human Boy is gonna do here? What will he do? Honestly, I'm not sure. I think the artillery pieces are probably a bad bet. But maybe they aren't. In fact, here's a crazy thing, guys. Mortars are actually very good against dwarves, surprisingly enough. Wow, hey, perfect spend? What is this? That is sick. I need to do that more often. Now, mortars are actually extremely strong versus dwarves. And although this may seem like a build, and it is illegal, so I will have to cut a mortar, it does seem pretty memey. It actually is surprisingly good here. And I would say do not count it out. Because of the map, I actually start fairly close to Human Boy, which means I can start shelling his cannons immediately, and they won't be able to kill the mortars very fast. Essentially, I'm banking entirely on that going well for me. If he goes for the gyro spam, I do have a healthy amount of air units. And instead of the zombies, I can take another unit of dogs, which will make me feel quite a bit safer. Now, worst case scenario, he goes for the Slayer Rush, in which case I'm relying on my Death Guard to do well. But other than that, I think I'm in a fairly decent situation. And this should work fairly well in place of Queen Bess. Because, you know, Queen Bess is essentially 3 mortars combined in terms of firepower. So I'm more or less just mimicking that. All right. Let's see here. Aha, there we go. Oh, wait a second. No, that's the wrong folder. No. No, that's not what I want. There we go. There we go. All right, so here we go. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I should not manage more than one thing at the same time. I really should not. Okay, here we go. So we are in game. This is my Vampire Coast build with mortars, because I was worried about some front deployed artillery causing me problems. I'm going to be using these artillery pieces instead in basically in place of Queen Bess. They do quite a bit of damage to dwarves. Interestingly enough, the main enemy of dwarves is artillery. And as long as I'm not getting rushed like crazy, I should be fine. I'm hoping mostly for rangers, and in this case, it seems like that could be a possibility. One thing that is a little bit scary though is a ranger vanguard on this map. There's a lot of space in the back where that could actually happen, so the scurvy dogs in the back will be keeping an eye on that. Meanwhile, my sirens will be keeping the front safe by screening for me. I got my anti-gyro copter defense. Let's see here. I got my front line, my very thin front line. And then, yeah, that's basically it. 7 hotkeys, actually 8 total. But yeah, basically I have an answer to everything, and we'll see if it actually pays off here. I'm hoping for rangers, but if it's a rush, I might still be able to do okay. And right off the bat, it is going to be a pretty heavy vanguard, which means that I turn guns and fire, and then these guys are going to be moving back. The dogs immediately dodging. Thankfully, they didn't get caught up in the rest of the forces here. And oh boy, I lucked out in the fact that they didn't take too much damage. Now these mortars, I need to be firing away at these guys. And all the range units are in the back, which means that I'm hoping to get a pretty nice kite game by the end of all of this. I will use some fell bats to stall this front line over here. And then the scurvy dogs are going to move into the back. Why the back? Because there are rangers that can very easily be murdered by them. In fact, I think my back line is so secured now, I'm actually going to turn guns and fire the other direction. Scurvy dogs in the back, looks like they're in a fairly good place. Depth guard, you can see they don't worry really about the depth guard. They don't really worry much about miners with blasting charges, because they have very high armor values, and it's one of the only situations where depth guard are reasonably tanky. So there we go. It seems like my dogs are now in the back. The dwarf back lines, they are routing very heavily now. And there are but a few miners to really disrupt my artillery, which will now be turning and firing in on these grouped up dwarf units. Fiery ring does drop, hits my sirens. I will counter with an immediate Nahek. Very important to throw down those Naheks where you can. And the depth guard have successfully cleared out this back line. So I'm feeling fairly good. These bats will do a good job at shutting down the miners so that they don't explode my poor doggos. And these sirens, what are you doing? Run this way. I've given the command like 3 times to support the rest of my army. And they've just been taking a long stroll for most of it. Now the dwarves, they are beginning to push through. There is a Gotrek garrison, which means I will need to run for the hills. But so far things are going very well for me. We've successfully routed off just about everything of the dwarves. The artillery will be getting shut down, but we are progressing now into the later stages of this contested match, with just, you know, these, what's it? With the Master Engineer probably being the biggest threat at the current point in time. The dogs, they'll be focusing on chasing things off, as that is extremely important here. And as long as my heroes stay safe, I'm feeling okay. Now, I am losing my artillery, but they've more or less done their job at this point. Just really giving the dwarf lines a run for their money. Disrupting them, forcing them to break formations, and allowing my sirens to really collapse in on top of them. Death Guard are still doing great, and the kiting begins. My hero has infinite ammunition thanks to the gunnery wights. She'll be killing off the Master Engineer so I don't get poked to death. The Scurvy Dogs, they're going to now split up. They want to be chasing off every single dwarf unit that routes. Hopefully that goes okay. Sirens, they take a big ol' breath attack from the Master Engineer. But Sirens, they are very pesky, and despite the magic damage on the dwarves, Sirens will still do fairly well for themselves. So I'm feeling very comfortable there. My Death Guard are doing great. And the kiting of the heroes has commenced. These Rangers, they will be dying to the dogs. Sirens over here will be able to live forever. And I even have some more Sirens in the back. Balance of power is now extremely in my favor. And I think that does match the current state of the game. Let's go ahead and bring in my pistol bats to focus down the Master Engineer. Like I said, he is the biggest threat when you're trying to kite, because he has that very annoying ranged attack. For Gotrek, he's going to be a little bit scary. Let's see, this is just Ungrim, so he can eat a face full of Sirens. But as soon as I split up my heroes, Gotrek is going to be having a very rough day indeed. And you will see in just a second, he does actually turn to try to shut down the Sirens, which means that I just have another opportunity to get some free shots on him. These Sirens too are successfully disrupting 3 units at the same time. And I think this should be a fairly straightforward win. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. And just goes to show you that this build is versatile enough to defeat even the Mass Vanguard Dwarf build. Just the Siren power is really where most of the strength comes in. Sirens are just such an amazing unit in this matchup. Now let's see, where are those Slayers? There they are. Let's target fire them with the bats. And then just run away with this gunnery wight. He has decent speed, so he should be fine. GG. Miners and Rangers did way worse versus the dogs, yeah. That's the main problem with Mass Vanguards. The Scurvy Dogs and Sirens, they will run over them like no tomorrow. And boy oh boy did they. A very decisive victory this time around. And one that I'm quite happy with. I actually had planned to make a video on this Vampire Coast build. But I haven't gone around to it yet. I think it is actually very meta though. And once you master the playstyle, it will very decisively get you victories. So cool, there we go. The mortars actually did extremely well because they were positioned in the center. The Fellbats did their jobs and actually got decent damage, but the Scurvy Dogs were the real winners here, with the Sirens acting as disruptions. From there, it was pretty straightforward, and that means that I will be winning the second match for today. So there we go. That's a win for me. Let's go ahead and report that. And we can close off the stream for now. Thank you very much, guys, for coming in. Remember, there is an event this week for the Ent Ladder. I am trying to promote it as much as possible. So hopefully we'll be having more players throughout the week. All you have to do is win games, and that should increase the chances of you winning the various prizes that are bouncing around between people. So with all that out of the way, thank you very much for coming in to watch, and I will see you next time. Oh, and I need to let the stream catch up, so we gotta sit here for a second while I wait for that.